I'm going to go over Tdoc on the 5-minute time frame and give you some price targets for Wednesday. And I'm also going to break down the chart and show you the bigger picture. Paisley is interested in Tdoc, so I thought I would go over it. Now, we ended the day at $20.12, up more than 5%. The day's low, $18.52. The day's high, $20.14. The stock ran today as many stocks did because the Fed came out and said it is holding rates steady. They say they are going to cut rates 3 times in 2024, sent the stock market running. People are exuberant. So we ended the day at 4 standard deviations, and there is a gap to the upside that starts at 2015 and goes to 2047. Now, the 52-week low on Tdoc is $15.02. The 52-week high is $34.36. Taking a look at the performance for the week, we are up 7%. For the month, a whopping 26%. Congratulations if you've made some money off of this stock. Now, for the 1-year performance, we are, however, down 32%. Under the technicals, we are considered a buy as of right now. Under the analyst rating, neutral, the 1-year price target, $22.61, which represents a 12% increase from where we are. Now, to the downside on Thursday, we are here. I anticipate this gap to close out, go up a little, and then make our way back down to earth. If we are up here and we start to go down, these lines then turn into support. So from here, the target going down is back to 1985, roughly 1956, back to the middle of the trend and the baseline where price moves in and out of to the upside and to the downside. Right now, and again at a level of support, 1898. Anytime we hit support, I anticipate a little bit of a bounce as people buy the dip. If we continue to fall, the next target down is roughly 1839 at -3 standard deviations, and another level of support, 1808, and roughly 1779 at -4 standard deviations. If we get down to this level, I will definitely anticipate a bounce. Now, looking left, this gap closed to the downside. It opened up on the 6th. This gap to the upside closed out at 1902, and that opened up on Monday the 4th. This gap closed to the downside at 1811. You can see where it gapped up. What goes up must come down. It took a while to finally get down and closed out here. And then we fell some more after that to support. And look what happens. We bounce up. This turns into resistance, resistance, and resistance. And what happens at resistance? People take their profits and they run, stock falls, and then we test the line here again at resistance. And there are gaps to the upside and gaps to the downside. So if you pull out, you can see that there is a gap here that has not closed, begins at 1633, goes down to 1575. We are not in that channel. We are not in that zone. Just be aware there's a landmine to the south. Could take a while. I'll keep my eyes on that for you. But right now, we have been going up. But the channel, as you can see, is still going down slightly. We have not made our way up yet. Other gaps, tiny gaps here, have filled. And now I want to show you the RSI. Let me get this. There we go. We are at a critical level on the 5-minute time frame, above 70. Started to fall back down, and we're crossing over here. So I don't know if we're going to cross to the downside bit. But anytime you hit this level, you can anticipate a sell-off because look left. The RSI never stays up in this area. It goes down And what happens? Goes back up to 70 again. Didn't hit as high as it has now, but look, going back down. Then you can anticipate it to ride slowly back up, made its way back down, and the cycle continues. Rinse and repeat. And check the MACD as well. But now I'm going to show you what this looks like on the 15-minute time frame. As you go to the different time frames, it gives you different buy and sell signals. We are still in this area of the overbought zone, so I will anticipate it could go up a little higher to go back down. And on the 15-minute time frame, we are also in this area of resistance on the 15-minute time frame. And look at your clear signals here. Resistance, sell-off, resistance, sell-off. Here is support, bounces up. We close the gap, and then we were very close to support here, and it bounced. You don't always get exactly to this line, but sometimes it's close enough. Turn on your VWAP, use your grid lines if you like to do that, or go back and draw out lines of support and resistance. And here, support, what happens? A bounce up to resistance here, and it went right through up to support and flushes back down. I never expect price to get to 4 standard deviations in one day. That's asking a lot, but when it happens, you can expect a sell-off for the day. Of course, if you're investing, it's a whole different strategy. You set it and forget it, and then don't freak out when it goes back down again. I'm doing a lot more swing trades these days. All right, and then looking left here, that gap I mentioned, here was a gap. It went down, so it gapped up. I'll draw that out. Turn on your magnet. And wait for a touch point to the upside right there roughly. So we closed to the upside right here at roughly 1811. And we didn't make it to resistance, fell back down here, and then went up and then sideways a little bit, and then made our way back up. Support all the way down here. I know it's scary sometimes to think, should I buy in? Is it gonna go even lower? That's a gamble you have to take. And then read the charts. I'm going to take this to the hourly time frame. Again, different buy and sell signals. Here is the price target. On the 1 hour time frame, the next target is going to be at 3 standard deviations, 2142. We hit here. I'm going to anticipate going sideways, selling off a little bit, and then finally hit this area. And I don't know if it's going to do it Thursday, Friday, maybe next week, but I anticipate this to close out because we are so close. And then once we do, I will anticipate a sell-off as we go back to reality, back to the middle of the trend, grinding along here or grinding sideways or grinding our way down. But on the hourly, note the channel is going up, so that's good. Looking left. This was the old price target, and we had it at $29. Trading View revised it downward to $22. Now the high though for tip ranks is 34. So overall, on the high side, that is a target. I'm going to show you this gap here on a different time frame. Well, actually, I'll just pull it down here. You can see. And that will take us out to $55.70. We are way, way off, not even close, not even on the radar just yet. But you can see our steady decline as the stock makes its way down here. Oh, this gets so wonky on me. Let me erase this. I'm going to add the linear regression back on. Okay, and I like to change out the color. Just pick a color. Let's go with this one. All right. On the hourly time frame, let's take a look at the RSI. We are again at 70 in the overbought area. So looking left, every time we hit that zone, it falls back down again. So I'm going to anticipate that as well, which means price will fall down with it in general. Now let's take a look at this on the daily. RSI not quite overbought yet, but getting close. Earnings is coming up on February the 21st. Actually, that's kind of a ways off. All right, let me reset this. It's Option R on the keypad, if you don't know. This is for a Mac. All right, we are right here on the daily to the north side. If we make it to 2 standard deviations, it will take out the 1-year price target of $22.61. So above that, the next level for me would be $23.96. Above that, $26.41, and then $28.76. And for the high on tip ranks, it's 34, a long ways off. We have to grind our way through this area before we can even think about getting here. And the next target will be right here. Price tends to stay within -2 and 2 standard deviations, and then along here, all along here. Anything outside here is an outlier and a signal to sell and get out if you are day trading or doing short swing trades. And to the south side, an outlier, your buy signals. Buy, 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 possibly sell, depends on if you're being conservative or trying to ride it out. And then this is sell, sell, sell. That's how I like to read the lines. And note the sell-off right here, the bounce here close to resistance, support. This is resistance, resistance, support. You can play along here, ride it up to here if you're trying to be very cautious, dipping your toes in and then get out. Obviously, you'd be leaving a lot of money on the table because look where it went. All right, on the daily, that move took us from, let me turn off my magnet. A 61% return right there. And then what happens? Flushes down from here. Let's see how far that went down. So that's a 34% to the downside. So ride it up, cash out, let it go down to where you're comfortable buying, and then ride it back up again. If, of course, you believe in the stock and you have conviction. Kathy Wood did, and she bought lots, but that was a different time. COVID was a different time. Now let's take a look at this on the weekly. Reset that. Okay, again, different buy and sell signals on different time frames. It's hard to see because I've marked it out so much here. We are sitting right here to the north side from where we are, takes us just to the middle of the trend, which would be $64.27. This is a long ways out, but keep your fingers crossed we get there. But there is a gap here that closes out at $55.70, and that opened up at $31.70. Let me move this out of the way. Why did I mark? Oh, it's right here. No, wait a minute. I think this opened up on the daily. Is that where I saw it originally? Let's take this back. Yeah, it was on the daily time frame this opened up. Again, different buy and sell signals on different time frames. Let me fix that, put on the magnet so I can get a more accurate price there. So we went down, and then we're going to make our way back up to close out that gap, and that's where that 55.70 comes in. Let me just, whoops, turn off that magnet. Oh, let me just do this again. I think I had it at what, 55.70? I'll fix it. All right, now let me take this back to the weekly. Show you what's been happening here. The stock debuted right here on Monday, June 29, the 29th of June, 2015. Look at this move from here to here, roughly 1,000%. Wow. And that, the peak, February 8th of 2021. That is amazing. But look at the drop that we also saw. Flushed down. All right. And I don't know if this is ever going to get back to this level, but let me erase this. Clone that. Let me see. Actually, I will do this on the monthly time frame so you can see this better. What I'm gonna attempt to do with the chart. It's just too messy. I can't see anything here. The RSI on the weekly time frame, you are not overbought yet, and you are not oversold. You're just in the middle, crossing over to the upside. So we have a long ways to go. And note down here, when we were oversold, when the stock was cheaper, started to run up. And what was the price at that time? Price was let's just pick that point right here. We were oversold and price was about $29.47, but it's been grinding down. Now let me show you how we look on the monthly time frame. Right, see that? This is 2 standard deviations, -2 and 2, all day long through here. And then anytime it goes out of 2, that is an outlier and a sell signal. Do not think that the price will stay up here without consolidating, dropping, barcoding, testing levels, and hopefully we can make it back up again. But it's going to take a long time if it does. We're not even close. We have to get to the middle of the trend first. Let me get my magnet off. Clone that. Where are we? We are, I think, at $20.12. I think that's it right here. Do you think we could get to this level? 296.96? I don't know. I think that's asking for a lot. Yeah, I think that is the lowest point. point right there. Let me just erase that. The RSI again, let me just see something. Now it doesn't want to double click on me. Well, I'm actually just going to end it here. I think that's a sign for me to end the video. And I just wanted to go over Tdoc for Paisley. And I think this gap right here that I mentioned at the beginning can be closed on Thursday. All right, that does it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and fingers crossed that we are on our way to the upside, but be careful because we are definitely overbought on the 5-minute time frame and a couple of the other time frames. All right, have a great day, trading day.